You buy a bouquet at the grocery store or the farmer's market and you bring it home and you stick it in the first vase you see without giving it much more thought. Is that all you got? Can we do better than this? In today's video, I'm going to show you some really simple tips on how to take your market bouquet and turn it into a beautiful centerpiece for your home. I'm Ellen Frost. I'm building a community of flower friends online at Flower More. Check it out on my website at ellenfrost.com. Also, subscribe to my free weekly newsletter, Flower Nerd, which is all about flowers. All right, so let's get started designing. When you bring your bouquet home from the market or from the grocery store, it's probably going to be wrapped in something. Sometimes it's wrapped in a plastic sleeve. It might be wrapped in paper. First things first, take the wrapping off. I know that seems really basic, but I have seen people that have just left the wrapping on in the vase. You want to take the wrap off, one, because it looks ugly, and two, because you want your flowers to have room to breathe. You don't want them squished in, getting moldy, so you want to take the wrap off. And then if they are banded together, either with twine or a rubber band or anything like that, you want to take the binding off, again, to give them room to breathe. Then you have a bouquet. Most grocery store or market bouquets are made quickly and they're made to be mass produced. So what you'll find a lot of times is that your stems are actually full of leaves, even full of dirt, and you don't really want to just put this in a vase as it is. This looks really messy. So my advice is to take your bouquet and lay out your ingredients. See what you're working with. In this bouquet, you can see that we have marigolds, for instance, that have not been prepared at all. And this is how you will find a lot of grocery store or market flowers come to you. So what we want to do is prepare our stems. And we want to lay out in categories, so all of your like flowers together. Now, once you have your flowers separated, you can see what you're working with. Every stem is going to be a little bit different. Some stems, like this alstroemeria, this is pretty clean. You don't really have to do anything to it right now. This stem, however, this is celosia. You can see it's got multiple stems. They haven't been cleaned. So for me, I want to break this down into single stems and clean each of the stems. So these are easy to break off, but you can use your clippers as well to just turn them into single stems that you are cleaning. And I always want to get the longest stem. So if I'm cutting this in two, I've got a shorter and a longer stem. So now these stems are ready to be used in my arrangement. So these celosia look okay, they're pretty clean. Then we get to the marigolds. You will see this a lot, especially farmers market bouquets, where farmers are leaving a lot of these side shoots and this foliage on because it bulks up the design. So we can still use these side shoots, but I want to clean them up. So again, that we're using single stems, taking all of this foliage off because we don't need that. And we can use these buds, but again, I want to clean them so that there's no foliage. I like using the buds, so these are fun. These can be a fun design element to add to your arrangement. So there's my marigolds ready. Now I've got Asclepias. These look pretty good. I don't mind this foliage up at the top. It's pretty looking. It complements the flower, so I'm going to leave those just as they are. And then I have my Rudbeckia. So you can see that I've got side shoots of Rudbeckia. So I want to cut those into single stems, and then I want to clean all of those stems so that there's no leaves anywhere, below where my vase is going to be. Okay, so you've got your flowers cleaned, which is a good step forward. The next thing you want to do is choose a vase. So choosing a vase, I know a lot of people when they get home, they just quick take their bouquet and put it in the first vase they see, which might just be a clear glass, really honestly boring bouquet vase. And it's fine. If that's all you have, it's fine. However, you can sort of step up your bouquet choice with just a few simple things. One, if you have a glass vase, but try a colored vase. You can get colored vases at the Goodwill or any thrift store, and they add a lot to the design. They really can complement what your flowers are doing. Another vase you can try is something metallic or something a little more rustic. This recycled metal vase I love, and actually this is the one that I'm going to use today. So I'm going to start my design with foliage. I didn't have any foliage in this bouquet. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Depends on the type of bouquet you buy. But I am going to use these side shoots from the marigolds because they do have a little bit of foliage on them. They have a little bit of a fragrance and they're long lasting. So I'm going to use these side shoots as my foliage, as my first design element. So I've cleaned my stem and I'm giving my stems a clean cut. So I'm starting with my marigold foliage and buds, and this is a basic bouquet. I'm going to just go in a circle, filling in with my foliage. And the next thing I want to put in are some line flowers. If I have line flowers, I'm going to include those. So a line flower is any flower that grows up the stem. And today I have some celosia, and I'm going to follow the same pattern I did with my foliage. And you can see I'm trimming them down. When I'm thinking about the height of my arrangement, I want it to be about 1.5 times the height of the vase. So no more than this level. All right. So you might be thinking, ooh, there's a lot of space in between here. I'm going to put in a secondary focal, which is alstroemeria. This is going to fill in a little bit more of this center space before I put my marigolds in. And I'm popping these out a little bit. All right, so next I'm going to put in my marigolds. Now my marigolds are my focal flower in this design. We don't have any other face flowers, so even though marigold doesn't really have a face, it is going to be the focal flower because it's our largest flower that we have. So I've trimmed this down to about double the size of the vase. I'm trimming off some of these leaves, making sure that none of these leaves are in the water. And you can see I'm varying the heights a little bit, so we have a little more interest. Just varying the heights of an arrangement can really add a lot of interest. Next, I'm going to use a filler flower. So this is another type of celosia. This is crested celosia. And this I want to use as a background color to fill in a little bit between my marigolds. So I'm actually going to cut this a little bit shorter so that it's working behind my marigolds. Next, another filler flower. This is Henry Eiler's Rudbeckia. This is a really fun one, fun to pop out of your arrangement, adding a little whimsy. So again, you can see that just varying the height of some of these flowers is adding a lot of interest and making it look a little more professional, a little more designed, rather than just sticking it in a vase the way you got it at the store. Lastly, I'm going to put in this Asclepias, and this is what I would call the sort of bits and pieces part of the arrangement. These are some really fun, unique, interesting elements that you don't see in a lot of designs. And you can see this nice little bit of movement and whimsy that we get from the Asclepias. Here is our grocery store market bouquet transformed into a centerpiece that you can be proud of on your kitchen table or dining room table. And it only took a couple of steps to make it so. So give it a try at home. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, subscribe to my free flower newsletter, Flower Nerd, today. The link is in the description.